Wrath, ravish me. My soul, a veil of ashes strewn, across your solar winds ablaze. A myrmidon in bronze has struck me with your scimitar at dawn. The razor drawn across my eyes to scald away my tears, to kneel me here, downcast upon the sand, a poet blind, aligned with heroes sent to hell, beyond the Arkensea, more dark than Vanta Black. Wrath, braven me to make almighty this demand, that even gods unwilling must obey my plea. Fulfill my wish and lend me brawn enough to stand, bereft of crutch, to mend the wreckage of a bow, restrung to tense my lyre. I grieve, too frail to spare the dead from jackals on a battlefield, too frail to chase your chariot, whose engines char the moon. Wrath, favor me, my eyes the fee for having seen your future in a gleam of sunlight from a scythe. 3 times I say, imbue my heart with bitter flames, by which you beckon me to stagger to my feet. The smoke from your Scirocco blown across the beach, where archers in the surf beside an ark lie slain. Black fumes of soot from oil fields rise to ink the sky. Burnt hulls of cedar loll in tides like gutted sharks along the shore. The oarsmen all but swept away, their upright shields aslant, implanted into dunes, each heavy plate a hatch exploded from a safe. The harnessed carcasses of horses buzz, impaled as if by spades that jut from earth beside a grave. The spears as trim as flagpoles stand above all kills. Burnt sails of linen stripped from rigging into rags bedrape a shipmast felled by axes that have laid to rest each scarecrow left uncrowned and crucified. The easterlies that mute the cursing of the gulls have long ago collapsed the tents, the fallen troops all immolated, mummified, their parachutes too late deployed as cerements to wrap the drowned. Burnt racks of flesh with butcheries of hide and bone upon your proving grounds give sign that oracles have tendered you a hecatomb to thwart your plagues, surrendering 100 aurochs as your prize. The sharpened palisades, once stark along the berms above a trench, have toppled like a rank of slaves who slump when shot, blindfolded at the edge of pits. Among these smoldering encampments left to burn, abandoned by the clans of spearmen to the whims of flame, stray packs of dogs go loping, tugging limbs of lifeless fighters in the dust, a throng of rogues who might in life have tossed each cur a sop of meat for sport, have warred ferociously against a horde and died, their guts mere mutton in the jaws of mutts. Among these ravagements of death beyond the ditch, the arrows flown and spent have picketed a field, their stems more legion than the thistles on the sands of barrens, where a taken bride has shed her tears at every step. Her footfalls soaked in rain have sown the dew, whose sprays of elecampane blaze a trail, with blooms of yellow asters, bright brighter than the moon. Among these wonderments of grief, whose petals fall, wind-blown in flecks of gold, across a plain of soot, the wrecks of drays and yokes bedeck the unlit pyres, the splinterings of oak and elm in broken wheels and ruined frames from mammoth traffic jams await the torch. The drivers, having jousted with a mob, have died, despoiled, their corselets looted by their foes. These victims who have lost their grip upon the reins of horses after driving wagons through the brawl have since been tied with nooses to a team that drags away the dead like plows to rake a road of blood. Each shadow of the killed, unburied and unburned, must prowl the earth without an obol for the fair to cross the Arkensea, more dark than Vanta Black. These shadows seeking rest have trod along the ruts of trackways overgrown with starwort, following the hell-bound phalanxes of armies that have marched toward a limestone stronghold, your necropolis, whose battlements, once high above the upward flight of javelins, have avalanched as though a sphinx has mauled this hive to claw at honey from the comb. These martyrs, having failed for years to sap this fort, have hauled before the gate a ransom that a king might keep in payment as a pledge against revenge. This prize, a barge beladen like a bier with bales of murex cloth and creels of barley meal, with pucks of azure glass and bricks of orichalcum piled on deck, beneath which spies in hiding wait to strike. Brave men, cocooned in cerecloth, have lain abreast in bunks among the offered corpses of their foes, returned as tribute with these troves of contraband. Such men feign death, like terracotta statuettes of buried saints, embracing swords upon their chests, remaining motionless when prodded by a spear, long after boatwrights who have left this gift have fled. Brave men, deserted by these shipmates for the sake of stratagems in war, have ridden with the dead aboard this showboat to the fast hold of the damned, where mourners at the door debate such bribery. The taken bride, Cyrenaic, keens her dirge, which goads the stoic souls among cadavers. Wake and weep, she sings. Your widows, wanton, have forgotten you. Brave men ignore her taunts, pretending to have died, their wounds already cauterized by heated blades, their hearts so scarred that even love no longer stings. Such zombies in their shrouds await a cue to rise from catafalques as soon as grievers plagued by doubt succumb to greed. A castellan commands a gang to bring the godsend through the toll gate of the keep. Souls ailing from their vigils after winning leave to enter hell might doze among the asphodels that blossom in the moonbeams of this shadowland. But wakeful mortals must defy the urge to sleep, emerging from their linen cauls, unzipped by knives at night, the killers looming from the afterbirth, like wasps erupting from a warhorse thrashed to pulp. Souls aching after having sailed this raft to hell might sleep ashore, forgetful of their prior lives. But wakeful mortals must upleap to slash the throats of bodyguards too drunk from feasting to defeat such stowaways who slink forth from the underdeck to skulk as spies throughout your shanty town in search of winch and crank by which to lift a gate. Souls asking for less sadness after having failed to stir their lovers slumbering in hell might lie with them a dream. But wakeful mortals must forego such bliss, uprising to unbar your onyx door. An arrowsmith among these saboteurs has wrapped an arrow tip with tow and tar aflame, his flare skyrocketing to bid 10,000 horsemen come. Scars brand heroic hearts, too fierce to wince at whips. The distant legions, having quit the battleground, adjourn to ships beneath the aegis of the moon, as though abandoning an almsgift at your shrine. Their crews outbound beyond the sea rim in the dark, where they await the upshot signal calling them. Return to war and burn this doorless fortress down. Scars flash across the turbid hearts of thunderclouds, all ships rebeaching after having feigned retreat to scourge their deadly cargoes, spilling forth a flood of swords like viruses which overwhelm a cell. The devils who have lain beside the dead hold wide the agate gates of hell, with pry bars in the jam, each sounding of alarms too late to warn the guards. Scars crack across the ashlar blocks that buttress walls against a superstorm, whose thundering has lent its doomfulness to droves of swordsmen bred to slay whatever moves. The patriarchs, the courtesans, all ousted naked from their beds, then forced to flee unarmed through alleyways as prey for pillagers, each cradle dashed to driftwood on the cobblestones. Thank you, one and all, for being so indulgent with me. I really appreciate you listening to all that rather heavy work.